the moon and star come to me through fire and war. Oh, oh, come Nerevar, come and look upon my heart, upon my heart. Oh, lay down your weapons, it is not too late for my mercy. Oh, oh, come and look upon my heart, upon my heart. Oh, 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 I'm a god. How can you kill a god? What a grand and intoxicating innocence. I'm a god. How can you kill a god? Shame on you, sweet Nerevar. I'm a god. I'm a god. I'm a god, god. I'm a god. I'm a god. I'm a god. Well, the moon and star come to me through fire and war. Oh, oh, come Nerevar, come and look upon my heart, upon my heart. Oh, lay down your weapons, it is not too late for my mercy. Oh, oh, come and look upon my heart, upon my heart. Oh, 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 I'm a god. How can you kill a god? What a grand and intoxicating innocence. I'm a god. How can you kill a god? Shame on you, sweet Nerevar. I'm a god. I'm a god. I'm a god, god. I'm a god. I'm a god. I'm a god. No recall or intervention can work in this place. There is no escape. No recall or intervention can work in this place. There is no escape. No recall or intervention can work in this place. There is no escape. No recall or intervention can work in this place. There is no escape. Oh, I'm a god. How can you kill a god? What a grand and intoxicating innocence. I'm a god. How can you kill a god? Shame on you, sweet Nerevar. I'm a god. I'm a god. I'm a god, god. I'm a god. I'm a god. I'm a god.
For a guy like me, and your eyes are shiny like you don't see. I wish you could be mine for eternity. Could you please be mine? Hey, you trapped my soul, you broke my law. I think you're fake, cause you stole my heart, stole my heart. Trapped my soul like a superstar. Start, bazooka, start, cause you're my start, bazooka, start, cause you're I start, bazooka, start, 'cause you're my start, bazooka, start, 'cause you're my start. You're the perfect person for a guy like me, and I know for sure that we are meant to be. If your heart is locked, then I may have a key. Could you please be mine? Hey, you trapped my soul, you broke my law. I think you're safe, 'cause you stole my heart, trapped my soul, like a superstar, bazooka, start, 'cause you're my star, bazooka, start, 'cause you're my star, bazooka, start, 'cause you're my star, bazooka, start, 'cause you're my star.
All right. Let's see here. There are memes today, guys. There are memes today. Uh-oh, Piers Uncensored. Okay, so here's my question. Can I watch the first part of this with this fucking crazy crackhead lady? Because, like, she has her fucking tube top up over her tits. So I don't even know if I can watch it. Like, I literally haven't even seen a clip of this interview. I've seen screenshots only. Her privates are covered? I don't want to get a strike on YouTube for it, my guy. That's my only problem, right? Here, one second. Let's listen to the audio from the clip that you just sent.
Piers fucking Morgan! You're asking too
Just for
many
the record,
questions.
my name is actually just Piers
What's
Morgan.
wrong with saying free Palestine? Piers, can you say free Palestine for me?
I think
Piers, can you say free Palestine for me?
if you stop shouting, yeah.
No. How else do you wear a tube top? Under the tits? Over the tits. Over the tits. That's how you wear a tube top, right? It's like... When I say over the tits, I'm saying above. You should wear them over. Covering. But her tits are out. What I don't understand is why this person, in what world did anybody think? No. Do you see what I'm talking about now? I'm only showing this because everything is below the camera right there. But like, in what world did anybody think that bringing this person onto a news channel was a good idea? Whose idea was this? I love this. We're now interviewing the mentally ill rather than treating them. True. Okay, one second. Here, let me pause the music. No background music on this. She's on YouTube, but are her tits out on her YouTube? Doesn't seem any worse than bringing on Hassan. Yeah. I mean, I also only saw like a 20-second clip from the Hassan section. Okay. Okay, let me see how comfortable I am with this. Oh, she stands up. Of course she stands up. Okay, when we get to the part where she stands up, I'm probably going to take it off screen and we'll just... Why is she covered in like white powder? Like, is she wearing a fucking diaper? He was screaming half the time. I saw a 30-second clip. Okay. Okay, you know what? We'll just watch it. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
In sense communities across the world, many Jewish people say they don't feel safe on the streets of Western cities. Many Muslims feel the horror facing innocent Palestinians is treated as a...
Piers Morgan did a disservice to his credibility as a serious panel show. I don't know what the fuck anybody... Who in their right fucking mind... Now, I don't know a lot about Piers Morgan, all right? I know that a lot of people really fucking hate him. I know that during the Trump years, people... like his credibility went downhill because I guess he defended Trump on some stuff. I don't know. I wasn't like super I wasn't as politically engaged as I am now, right? So I didn't know what his whole deal was. But what sane individual, okay? What sane individual who has a syndicated fucking TV show. I assume that it's syndicated. I don't know what syndicated means. I've heard it used before. Okay. Who has a fucking show on national television, not a YouTube show, thinks this is a good idea. I'm going to bring this person on and it's going to be, you know, we're going to speak to them and it's going to be a good idea. Americans confuse Britbonger journalism with being supportive of a particular position or person. How's it going, Front Yard Shield? I know that there's a difference between Britbonger journalism and American journalism. I'm not in journalism school. All right. I don't know a lot about it. If I wanted to learn about it, I don't even know the first place that I would go. Okay. What do you consider racism? Well, for the past like 3 or 4 weeks that you've been under this persona, Front Yard Shield, you've done perfect. Okay? So just pretend to be Front Yard Shield and not Panda Man. I say it was a good idea to bring her on. It makes our point how crazy these people are. But like, is this person a pro-Palestinian... Or is this person like a lefty protester? Or like, because the very little that I've heard about this is this person is like a shock media, like ambush interviewer who finds celebrities and fucks with them. Seems more tabloidy than any kind of like activist, right? You could watch it and find out, okay, well, I didn't think that they were going to get anything out of her.
Second-class concern. And as with any emotive cause... Well, the war in Gaza has incensed communities across the world. Many Jewish people say they don't feel safe on the streets of Western cities. Many Muslims feel the horror facing innocent Palestinians is treated as a second-class concern. And as with any emotive cause, a lot of people with no dog in the fight have moulded this crisis into a familiar battle of good versus evil, oppressors versus oppressed. Hysterical scenes at some of America's top universities this week have generated more coverage and commentary than the war itself in the last 2 weeks. Columbia says that all in-person classes are now cancelled until the end of the semester. Arrests have been made at encampments outside.
Yo, also, I want to look into this Columbia stuff because I see lots of people saying it's the biggest attack on the First Amendment in, you know, American history. I don't think it's that deep, but I need to, I don't even feel like I need to see the protesters' point of view because I know what they're going to say. This is a peaceful protest. There are outside agitators, but they're not affiliated with us. There was no violence, and once there was violence, it was started by the cops, right? Like that sort of thing, right? Colombia is getting their funding sources pulled. Well, if Colombia wants to go down the shitter, that's their thing. Do I know who Hannah R. Dent is? No. Front Yard Shield, I don't know how to explain don't be racist. I'm not going to give, like, I don't even know if I could give hardcore, do say this, don't say this, all right? Just feel it out. I'll give you warnings when you're close to the line. All right, let's keep watching. Because, again, this is going to be a relatively short stream today, all right? Probably like 2 hours, so.
Yale. Well, one notable Jewish professor at Columbia shared a video.
A clip with a 20-year-old who had no idea why she was at the NYU protest was golden. Can you link that to me? Or is it in the Discord? Because if it is, then I missed it. Wait, let me scroll up in Gen Chat. Damn, you guys have been fucking talking up a storm in there. I do not see it. Yeah, or like tag me in a response to it.
Muslims praying as if it was a shocking assault on US values. Many badly informed pro-Palestine demonstrators, meanwhile, have called for an intifada and chanted, "We love Hamas." Others believe that synchronized dancing is a long-lost secret to peace in the Middle East. Well, these people are all spending $80,000 a year on tuition, but clearly...
Can someone explain to me what the fuck it is with fucking college students and protests with, like, drum circles? Has anybody... Like, genuine question. I won't shit on you too hard, okay? Who here has been in a fucking drum circle? And if you have been, what was the draw? Like, it feels so, like, the stereotypical, like, hippie, lefty college student. Yeah, the Palestinian liberation is queer liberation, or queer liberation is, you know, no trans liberation until all people are liberal. Yeah, it's super stupid.
Many of them haven't found Wikipedia, and this virtue signaling fever is now emboldening a growing number of people to confront public figures. There's simply no connection
I got it. Thank you.
To the war. This was New York Mayor Eric Adams berated for supporting genocide as he took his seat on a flight.
Yeah. You! You support the genocide in Palestine. There are homeless people all over New York. You're always partying. You don't actually care about the citizens of New York. People cannot afford food. You keep cutting the education budget so you can fund the police.
What was the
and this so-called performance artist has dominated timelines for days after achieving what previously seemed impossible, and outpouring public sympathy for Alec Baldwin by doing this.
Put innocent people in jail, Alec Baldwin. Free Palestine, Alec, just one time. And I'll leave.
What do the people, like, think they're going to... Like, I don't think that this person is a serious person whatsoever right here, okay? But the other person, was that the same person? Wait a second.
To the war. This was New York Mayor Eric Adams berated for supporting genocide as he took his seat on a flight.
Eric Adams? Yeah, you! You support the
Okay, it's not a different person.
so you can fund the police.
And this so-called performance artist has dominated...
Even Hassan said they're just clout chasing. Yeah, like, you're... What happens when Eric Adams says, save genocide, or save genocide, save Palestine, or, you know, anything like that? When Alec Baldwin says this, after you've been fucking screaming at them, right? Who's going to look at that and be like, you know what? I think Alec Baldwin really supports Palestine. Like, who is going to think that? You're not accomplishing fucking anything. But then again, when we look at basically any protest movement in the current era, nobody has any kind of goal. Nobody has, like, a specific ask. Nobody has something that they want to come out of the protest, right? Like, when I went to one of the BLM protests in Houston in 2020, right? Because I thought, you know what, we should be protesting so that we can get some sort of legislation to pass, so that we can, something will change, right? Like and some of the speakers at the protest that I went to, it was all super peaceful. It wasn't one of the like crazy ones until we were trying to leave, and then there were people fighting with police, and we were like, man, how the fuck do we get out of here? We don't want to be associated with this. But like, there were some specific asks there, but by and large, across the entirety of BLM, what were the specific asks? What were the goals? There weren't any, right? When we look at the protests here for like Palestine, what are the asks? It's like divest from Israel, kill more Jews. Like, that's what they say. Like, yeah, defund the police, soy, ceasefire. But like, they don't even have that. That's not what they really want. They don't want just a ceasefire. They want us to completely. What's your position on? Do I have a Twitch account? No, I got banned for bullshit reasons. My position on Gaza and Zionism, I don't have like a super strong. I think that like extreme Zionists are super ultra fucking cringe. My position on Gaza is this should have been wrapped up long ago. It's really stupid that no one on either side seems to be making any kind of reasonable, like, well, okay, here's my understanding based off of like month outdated news stories, because I haven't looked into it for the past couple of weeks. But Israel isn't willing to do anything for a ceasefire right now. Hamas has put forward some kinds of, ceasefire conditions, but they're really, really unbelievably one-sided. Like, they're not making reasonable asks, right? So that's my position on like the ceasefire stuff. When it comes to Gaza, like, obviously I don't like the devastation that's happening there. I don't think that. I think the longer this goes on, the less of a moral right that Israel can claim. And I think at this point, Israel does need to either like make clear, what the fuck are you trying to do? That's what I don't understand from Israel at this point. At the beginning, it was like, we're going to try to destroy Hamas. And at the time I said, that's a bit of a vague aim for your war where you're bombing the fuck out of this place. But okay, as long as you give us some more, information as to what destroy Hamas means, I could be more or less against it. It just depends, right? If you have a call in, let me know. We can have a conversation. Oh man, I really want to watch this. I don't have a lot of time. What day is it? Today is Thursday, right? Tomorrow I have work until 4. Yeah, what are you doing tomorrow? Because I can make it work tomorrow. I can't make it work today. Oh my God, am I getting content cucked? No, you're not getting content cucked. We're going to watch this. What time? Anytime after 4 Central. Shoot me a Discord message right now, and I'll give you the time. But anyways, yeah, so I have huge sympathy for the Palestinians, and I have huge sympathy for the position that the average Palestinian is put in. I have literally zero fucking sympathy for Hamas. Fuck them. Also, fuck Netanyahu. I don't know what needs to happen to get that motherfucker out of office. But they need to call for elections. I don't know how their fucking political system works, but that motherfucker needs to go. Yeah, that's like my broad opinion. Like, I'm like, my opinion has changed. I used to like give like a percentage, like I'm 55 pro-Israel in this specific conflict, 45 pro-Palestinian. As time has gone on, I'm like 51-49. Like, Israel, like the only path forward that I can see is Hamas getting the fuck out of there, Palestinians having someone step up that is an actual like proponent for, you know, a permanent solution that is possible, right? Because we're not talking about what is the pure moral stance, because I don't care about that, because everybody's pure moral stance is either all of the entire area becomes Israel or all of it becomes Palestine. That's fucking retarded. That's never going to happen either way. Well, it could happen, like it all becomes Israel, depending on how crazy Israel goes. But like that's not a feasible outcome for this. We need people that actually have a desire for peace and a long-term solution, and that won't happen until Hamas is gone, I think.
Timelines for days after achieving what previously seemed impossible, and outpouring public sympathy for Alec Baldwin by doing this.
Put innocent people in jail, Alec Baldwin. Free Palestine, Alec, just one time, and I'll leave you alone. I'll leave you alone, I swear. Just say free Palestine one time. One time. One time. One time, Alec. You know he's a criminal. You know he's a criminal. Come on, Alec, just say free Palestine one time. Israel, Zionism. Please say it. One time.
Hey, can you do me one quick favor? Slap. Fucking based. Okay? Fucking based.
Make a difference? Are these demonstrators forcing the rich and powerful to confront and condemn the horrors of war? Or is it a wave of self-indulgent protest, just distracting us from the deadly serious realities of a grim ongoing war? In a moment, I'll debate all that with Hassan Piker, Emily Austin, Esther Cracker, and James Barber. First, I'm joined by Alec Baldwin's antagonist there, who calls herself...
Yo, I'm going to keep on watching this, but I was slightly on the side of Palestine before October. I now realize I don't actually care aside from a preference for Israel based on a desire for stability. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at right now. Very slight preference for Israel because holy shit, like the only way for Palestinians to stop getting bombed and for, you know, that sort of stuff to happen is for there to be a lasting, you know, solution. And fuck me, it's just not going to happen with any group like Hamas in charge. It's never going to happen.
Crackhead Barney. Well, welcome to Uncensored.
Hey, Pierce! I've been waiting for you, Pierce fucking Morgan!
Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't fucking do it. Do I have
My diaper
to?
today for you, Pierce. Do you like it?
Not particularly, no. Do you want to sit down?
She is wearing a diaper.
And Pierce, can you bring me to Buckingham Palace? I would like to meet the Queen.
I'm sorry, this feels like way too TOS, and I don't think I can listen to her voice for this long. I'm sorry. We'll watch that part of the interview. Listen, we'll listen to that part of the interview if someone donates like $30. Otherwise, I can't fucking do it.
Meghan Markle. Because, you know, Buckingham Palace was complaining about the black girl, and I want to be that black girl.
Okay.
I want to be that black girl.
You know what, Crackhead? I tried to give you a hearing. You're not going to take it seriously.
No,
I actually
Pierce,
think
you
you're
didn't
doing.
try anything.
You may want to
didn't
shout.
try anything.
Yeah,
It feels way too TOS.
you may want to shout and scream
Oh,
at Alec Baldwin. All right. I think we've heard enough of Crackhead, to be honest with you. All right, let's bring in my panel. Streamer Hassan Piker, journalist Emily Austin, Uncensored Control.
Can you imagine being in, like, you know, in studio waiting for your turn? Can you imagine having to sit through all of that and just dying inside? Hassan jump scare, true.
Contributor, Esther Kraku, and podcaster James Barr. Well, Emily, I mean, on one level, I guess it was quite funny, but on another level, I didn't like what she did to Alec Baldwin. I've got no truck for Alec Baldwin whatsoever. And I think with this case that he's got hanging over him, I hope that justice is served, because ultimately he did fire the gun that killed that poor woman and has been on some kind of weird PR tour ever since. But I don't like to see any public figure, whether it's Eric Adams, the mayor.
His charge for Alec Baldwin is involuntary manslaughter, right? What is the sentence? Involuntary manslaughter sentence. Where was it? Arizona? Like, what is he looking at? A first-time felony offender faces between 7 and 21 years in prison with a presumptive sentence of 10.5 years? Jesus. But what about involuntary? This is California. Jesus. So he is looking at actual jail time. Jesus Christ.
On a plane, or Alec Baldwin getting a coffee, harangued and harassed in that manner. Now, I tried to conduct a serious interview. She obviously wasn't interested in doing
Yeah,
that.
I have a lot of background knowledge and history.
And joke and performative thing. Fine. That's entirely her right to do it. But what did you think of these harassings, not just by her, but by other people, of public figures?
You tried to conduct a serious interview with crackhead Barbie?
Well, no, I was asking her about a viral
delay
video of her harassing Alec Baldwin, which I...
Sorry, fucking Hassan W on that one. All right. Hassan, the one Hassan W I've ever seen in my entire goddamn life. You tried to conduct a serious interview with crackhead Barbie?
I do actually think it's a serious thing. I do actually think public figures should not be harassed in that manner. I've had a bit of it myself, and I think it crosses a line. Right, and Ali Baldwin, you know, as far as I'm aware, has not said anything particularly sensational about the war at all. So why she is harassing him in the street in the way that she did, I think is worthy of examination. Now, as it turned out, she had no interest in having a serious conversation. Okay, so we've cut it off. But I don't think I should be blamed for getting on someone who is literally at the centre of a quite big news story in America for harassing a famous star. Do you, Hassan?
No, it was for clout. She was doing it for clout. That's why she went on the show, also for clout, which you were correct on pointing out that using the ongoing ethnic cleansing campaign in Gaza and what's happening to the Palestinian people as a vehicle to create more social clout for yourself, social capital for yourself is pretty disingenuous, pretty messed up.
I have to jump in there, though, because isn't that what everybody's doing?
So I'm going to make a guess. Obviously, pro-Palestine. This lady has the fucking Star of David. She's going to be pro-Israel. Now, these two people, this is a total toss-up, all right? Total fucking toss-up as to who is pro-Israel and pro-Palestine. Who fucking knows?
Isn't that what this show is also doing? Because you're talking about create political clout, to create noise,
I'll come back
to get clicks, to make money.
Listen, let's not all be disingenuous.
No,
right?
but the whole conversation, and
on.
actually, Crackhead Barney isn't that different to you.
Well, actually,
and Crackhead Barney said it herself. She said,
"Is it Barney or Barbie?"
No different. And I kind of agree with Crackhead Barney. I didn't think I'd say
If you think there's any correlation between what she just did on the show,
someone screaming over someone and not letting them speak, there's definitely a correlation.
Well, you think that I've treated you like she treated
No,
Ali
I'm just
Baldwin?
saying that I think that actually you aren't that different. You're trying to do the same thing.
I'll come back to
You're just doing it in a different way.
No, it's a preposterous suggestion. I do not do what she does, right? But Hassan, here's the point I make to you. A lot of people think a lot of these protesters at universities in America are performative. The ones who are chanting
fun of
their support
Hassan
for
many
Hamas,
times.
the ones who are chanting about intifada and pretending it's not about a violent uprising. I mean, do you accept that a lot of that is not only performative, but public demonstration of support for terrorism?
Absolutely not. I don't think that. I mean, all protests are technically performative, obviously, but there's a very clear-cut goal for the group of students at Columbia and many other universities. I was in Melbourne not that long ago, and I attended a Palestinian protest there, a Palestinian rally there, and the students there were also demanding the exact same thing, that they divest, their colleges divest from a lot of the companies that are aligned with the state of Israel, a lot of the companies that are directly involved in operations in the West Bank, a lot of the companies that are playing a role in the...
Watch the clip now? Which clip? What? Oh, the clip. Okay, I got you. That's right.
Main goal with tonight's protest?
I think the goal is just showing our support for Palestine and demanding that NYU stops. I honestly don't know all of what NYU's doing.
Is there something that NYU's doing?
I really don't know. I'm pretty sure they're... Do you know what NYU's doing? About what? About Israel. Why are we protesting here?
Palestine will be free!
I wish I was more educated. I'm not either.
Oh.
I came from...
Okay.
I came from Columbia. I was there up at Columbia, and we came down. They said NYU students needed our support, so I came down. I heard there's lots of cops. Some people were saying it was getting dangerous.
And what would you say?
Okay, quick aside. Women fear me, fish fear me, men turn their eyes away from me as I walk. No beasts dare make a sound in my presence. I am alone on this barren earth. You know what? That's a based fucking hat. Bro, this is depressing. I just don't understand. Again, like, I do support people's right to protest. I do support people's right to protest even things that I disagree with, right? Or things that I agree with. If they don't like it, then they can protest against things that I like, right? I'm a pretty big free speech person. I also... One more Israel video on the line? What do you mean? I also, at the same time, think that if you're going to go out there and you're going to say chants at your protest about, you know, we support Hamas specifically. We specifically love what happened on October 7th, and we want it to happen again. You're harassing people for being Jewish. You are you're attacking people because they are Jewish. Like, that sort of shit is ultra fucking cringe. Now, here's what I don't know in terms of my own bias, right? Because I haven't been following this super closely, and the only times I've really seen it are people that I, you know, am in group chats with, or people posting in my Discord, right? Like, I don't know what sort of selection bias I'm getting in terms of what's happening at these protests, but it seems like there are a couple of clips of relatively chill, just like people sitting around and basically doing a sit-in of a university and people trying to, you know, antagonize them. But I also see a fuckload of pretty aggressive, unacceptable protests going on at these colleges. I don't know which one is more prevalent. If cops need to be called, I want to know why they're being called. I would assume it's because of the harassment of Jewish students, though. You know? Oh my God, you keep on linking me videos from the same fucking guy. I'm probably not going to watch that.
Regular maintenance of the apartheid regime of Israel and helping Israel conduct an ethnic cleansing campaign. That is the ultimate goal. That is why they're trying to very clearly cause a little bit of a disruption and engage in...
But are you comfortable?
I saw this video yesterday.
You can do
are you comfortable with the ones who are seen chanting support for Hamas?
Okay, y'all need to stop linking me stuff because we haven't even gotten barely into this at all, okay?
I saw this video yesterday. Listen to this.
Oh, yeah. Thanks so much.
I'm sorry, I forgot to say you need to stop drinking Coke Zero on stream.
Why?
It's boycott.
Wait, is it?
You're preaching pro-Palestine and you're drinking all this boycott stuff. Please, Hassan.
I would... Bro, I'd bust out a 2-liter right there. Like, bro, I'm thirsty. Like, what the fuck? This is what I would like. The last stream that I did, I talked about the things that the left is doing that is just like burning out people from ever listening to anything that they have to fucking say, and the constant fucking shaming of people for doing normal everyday fucking things like drinking Coke or Coke Zero is this is why I'm pretty confident that the left-leaning, you know, crazy shit like this is just gonna go away here in the next like year or two. I really do think that. It's already been kind of dying. There are a bunch of people on, you know, in the space that I inhabit, or inhabited before I was banned off of Twitch, like the Twitch politics crowd. People like Joe Lewis pretending that he's not a socialist, or like disavowing like leftism in general, right? Yeah, that was yesterday's video also. Yeah, I'm going to link a video at the end of this, just so you guys know. But it's just like, my guys, do you care about support, or do you care about like, do you care about genuine support, or do you want people just to like fear the repercussions of not supporting what you support? Plug the video. We'll link it in chat. Tron, you're a mod. You can link stuff in YouTube chat. But it's just like, these people don't care about the actual. They don't care about the actual issue. They care about the aesthetics of caring about an issue. You know.
Palestine, and you're drinking with this boycott stuff, please, Hassan. At least pretend. Do it off stream, please.
Okay, I'll put in a glass. Is Pepsi okay?
No.
Is it? Okay.
No soda, Hassan.
I didn't know it was like that. I've been trying to stop it. He's an animal.
I didn't know it was like that. I didn't know it was like that. Man, you know what? He deserves to get. Hold on. Let me qualify the statement. When you're going to sit around and you're going to support all of the kind of like harassy behavior, like for pro-Palestinian shit, if someone does it to you, right, and starts trying to fuck with you about one thing that you're doing that is a totally normal fucking thing to do in normal society, I'm not gonna have like literally any sympathy. I have sympathy for Alec Baldwin because he was just getting a fucking coffee. I have no sympathy for Hassan. And every time he IRL streams, if this happened, I wouldn't bat an eye.
Down to mental institutions in society has had a profound and negative impact on the public at large. It's had a profound and terrible impact. Like if a crazy person like that came up to me, I would immediately be like, "You're so right. That's completely true. I'm so sorry." And I would tell them whatever they need to hear in order for them to leave. We have to figure out one way or another to get them to de-aggro this person.
Based.
Or chanting about intifada.
I am perfectly comfortable.
Fanta is the one true Palestinian support drink. True.
With people
Those who know.
about the intifada.
Those who
as far as the
know.
Hamas thing goes, any kind of protest is always going to have a litany of random people, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. You have to look at the actual tangible goals that the protest movement is stating there.
No, the methods in which they use are also pretty important, Hassan. Yeah, like you could have like the most divine goal of all time, but if your way of trying to bring about that divine goal that everybody agrees with is like raping a child in Times Square to prove your point, the goal doesn't matter. The methods also matter, right?
Are interested in. And I think that those goals, and I think you will agree with me on this, Piers, I think those goals are pretty valid overall. I think that they want to, one, recenter the attention to the genocide that is ongoing in Gaza, and two, demand that their tuition dollars do not go to operations in Israel. I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's a campus. There's going to be a sister campus that is being built in Tel Aviv right now for Columbia University. This means that Columbia University, which once housed the likes of the late, great Edward Said and many others, and that currently has many Palestinian students who pay tuition for projects such as this one, will not be able to go to that sister campus.
I would be so curious. Columbia University demographics. What kind of demographics do we got? Net blah 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 blah. Oh, Rice University. They're super hard to get into. Do we full-time, part-time, retention? 99% retention rate is crazy. Oh, they just break it down by white, Hispanic, or black. Oh, Asian. How many students do they have? Because this says 3 million. Oh, man, it would be so interesting. Race and ethnicity by share. Okay. He just said that there's like lots of lots of Palestinian students. It would be so interesting to see what see how many actual Palestinian students they have.
I find that abhorrent, but it's everyday existence
All right.
in Israel.
Let me bring in Emily. You've been listening to all this. Your response?
With all due respect, Hassan, why?
They're going to let him out of that cop car because they've already gotten his information. Or at least I would assume that if you're a cop, that you've already gotten his information. They're going to let him out of that fucking car. And they're just going to arrest him later when he's not around a bunch of fucking people. I mean, listen, this is peaceful, but I don't know what the guy was arrested for. Because this person's obviously not going to tell us.
Do you feel that Columbia, or any college for that matter, owes you to divest from Israel? Why do you think your opinion is correct? Because so far, I heard the classic buzzwords: apartheid, discriminatory, ethnic cleansing, and genocide, which is funny because it's all the exact opposite. So if I may ask you, what about Israel is apartheid? You also just said the students in Israel, the campus in Israel would not allow Palestinians to join. Are you confused, or do you know nothing about the country of Israel? Because let me remind you, Jews are not allowed in the West Bank and Gaza. However, Arabs have full Israeli citizenship, have the rights, are members of the Knesset, which is the equivalent of, you can think of Congress, and even prosecuted a former Prime Minister, Ehud Olmert, an Arab judge. So what apartheid exactly are you speaking about? What genocide? What ethnic cleansing? And secondly, how dare you say it's okay to talk about an intifada?
Yeah,
Let me remind you, the intifada last time it happened in Israel consisted of thousands of people dying in bus bombings. So are you saying that you support terrorism and killing innocent people?
Well, intifada simply just means revolution, and I'm an American, and in 1776,
violent
we did
revolution.
one of those, and it was pretty fucking good. Yeah. What do you think? The American,
Okay,
do you think the American Revolution was a political party?
Hiroshima. We also bombed Hiroshima.
Yeah, I know, and that was also unjust and unimaginably cruel. But of course, the Israel Defender is also defending nuking civilians and killing them by the hundreds of thousands. Now listen, let's get back. Let's get back.
But when it goes
let's
against
refocus
it,
the conversation
it's
to the.
He's so didn't Hassan last week like debate a child? Like that's the tier of argumentation Hassan is on these days, right? Like he won't debate anyone that has any kind of ability to push back, but he'll debate a fucking like 12-year-old. Oh, it was a 16-year-old. He'll debate a 16-year-old, but he's just like not able to like push back against what she's saying so far.
The points that you made. Let's refocus the conversation.
Okay,
you said,
just to remind everybody, I'm actually moderating this, but that's an interesting point that Emily just raised, Hassan. It does seem that you're very selective about the violence that you support. That when you support it, it's justified. When other people use things in a violent way that you don't support, it's unjustified. Seems like it's all skewed to what Hassan Piker thinks.
Well, not necessarily just what I think. I think that there are obvious markers, obvious boundaries. I don't think violence against civilians is justified. I have talked about October 7 on this very same show, saying that it was a tragedy. It was atrocities that occurred on October 7 specifically. When you target civilians in any capacity, I think that that is unacceptable. However, this does not mean that violence will not occur in many circumstances. Violence has occurred in every single revolutionary action, many good revolutionary actions. Obviously, America bombing Hiroshima and Nagasaki with an atom bomb. That was not a very good moment for anybody. It was not a very good moment for human civilization at all.
Was what Hamas did on October the 7th? Was what Hamas did on October the 7th an example of what you would call a justified revolution?
I don't look at every single act of.
Oh, the non-answer. Oh, the non-answer, bro. It's the easiest fucking thing. Like, if I was gonna be in Hassan's position here, if I was gonna be, because I mean, fuck me, I'll defend, against the crazy Zionist types. Like, I'll argue against them as well. Like, I don't have to accept that October 7th was at all justified in any of its actions. But I can also say, like, hey, there needs to be some kind of lasting peace, and Israel isn't like moving towards that. Obviously, Hamas isn't going to work towards that because they're fucking terrorists. But like, yeah, do the people in Palestine have a reason to be miffed at the state of affairs? Yeah, they absolutely have a reason to be miffed about the state of affairs. Does that mean that October 7th was like how you express that miffedness? No.
violence. I look at
You've
the
literally
players,
just been
I look
reciting
at
a whole
the
load of
systems
them.
of oppression.
Why are you avoiding, why are you avoiding
Piers.
October the 7th?
You do it too.
No, I don't.
I'm not avoiding it. I've talked about it a million times.
Well, let me ask you one more time. Hang on,
This is not what we're here to discuss.
Emily, hang on.
This is not what we're here to
Hassan,
discuss.
let me
She
just ask
said
you. Let me
very
just ask you
specifically,
directly one
Israel's
more
not an
time.
apartheid state.
Let me ask you one more time. Do you believe what happened on October the 7th was a justified act of revolution? Yes or no?
I do not, and I do think that. Wait,
Thank
hold on.
you.
That's, let me clarify. Let me clarify something very important here. Events that unfolded on October 7th were atrocities. That much is clear. Those atrocities could have been avoided if Israel was not an apartheid regime. Israel has been an apartheid
Can you
regime
answer
for
how
75
Israel's an
years.
apartheid regime?
In the
Because
early,
you keep repeating
no,
that.
you can't
keep
just
repeating
chime in.
that.
You can't just chime in. You ask me a question. You want it?
Why
you
is
ask me a question.
Israel an
I'm going to give
apartheid
you
You're
an
the only person that's been talking for basically the entire time, Hassan.
answer.
Because you're repeating
Israel
these
has been
lies.
an apartheid
Go
regime
ahead,
since
please.
its inception. Until 1967, Israel was an apartheid regime for the Palestinian citizens of Israel, the Arabs, as you called them. There was a two-tier criminal justice system. They were subjected to the military court processes and not the civil court processes until 1967. After 1967, they got citizenship. There are obviously still many different social issues that pertain to the Palestinian citizens of Israel, the Arabs that are living in Israel, those who are not Jewish, of course. However, Israel currently is occupying the West Bank. There are more than 2 million Palestinians that live in the West Bank. Israel's illegally occupying the West Bank. There are checkpoints. There are license plates that restrict Palestinian travel. The Israeli operations in the West Bank have destroyed Palestinian statehood. Now, of course,
Now, like, these things sound bad. Like, here's my point is all of these things aren't necessarily just because, like, fuck Palestinians. Like, there's reasons for all of these things, right? Probably the restriction of travel is due to the history of violence that happens between all of these different groups. People driving into Israel and doing intifadas and doing shit like that. Yeah, there's probably reasons for this. The correct endpoint that you should be going towards isn't just like, oh, well, this is an apartheid state. It's okay. Now we recognize why this is happening. How do we try to fix that? And then you try to find an acceptable and possible solution to that.
all of this is readily available for those who want to learn about it, yourself included. I hope you look it up. B'Tselem is an Israeli human rights organization which declared Israel to be an apartheid regime in 2021, in April of 2021. Amnesty International declared Israel to be an apartheid regime.
Let me,
and
before I
so
move,
did- and so did the Human Rights Watch.
hang on. Before I just want to bring in our two British panelists here, but just finally, just to clarify, Hassan, I can't quite work out whether you said you do think October the 7th was an unjustified act of revolution or whether you changed your mind. So can you clarify?
I think that
weasel words
means of maintaining an apartheid is inevitably going to yield violent retaliation.
So
this
was it
is
justified?
something that is completely avoidable.
Was it justified?
Civilian deaths are never justified.
You know what, Hassan?
Hang on, Emily.
You look,
Hang on, Emily.
You look Hirsch
Emily, let me-
Goldberg, Poland's mother in the eyes. No, you look this person's mother in the eyes and you tell him that this was justified. You tell him his arm being blown off and being held in captivity for 200 days is justified.
I do love that the Israel
false
defender
narrative,
has no
you think
capacity
that
to
Gaza
fucking hear
belongs
anything
to
I'm
the
saying.
Palestinians who are
What are you
made of
talking about?
identity.
It just, if you're not going to respect...
He's so mad that he's getting pressed on his non-answer. He's so mad that he's getting pressed on his non-answer. Now, this lady's probably like equally crazy on the other side. I don't know exactly how far she goes with everything, but like he's so mad that he can't answer how he wants to answer. How he wants to answer is there are no civilian, civilian settlers. If there's a baby that got killed, if it was a settler, then like free game, just like his buddies and, just like his buddies said, just like that, his buddies that he's on a fucking podcast with, that I think that he still is friends with them, like, come on. Like, this is one reason why I have like so little respect for Hassan, is that he won't say with his whole chest what his opinion is. At least the Zionists that are like super crazy, at least you know where they fucking stand on things. Even if I fucking hate their point just as much, at least they have the fucking, balls to say, yeah, I would wipe out every single fucking Palestinian. Right? And then we can have that fucking conversation. But we can't even have a conversation if you won't be honest about what your opinions are.
me
You
and
think
listen
that
to what
we're
I have to
occupying
say,
the West
which, by
Bank?
the way,
You
of course
think
you
we
don't
occupied
respect.
Gaza?
Well, if you talk
Look what
over each other,
happened.
nobody can
I'll
hear you.
just
I
keep
just
speaking
want to
I
over
give
you.
think it's
You
not.
do.
I
just want to
think
give
it's not. I
Hassan.
think it's the entire
Hassan,
world knows.
No, it is you
Okay,
think.
it's the
Hang
entire
on,
world
Emily,
knows.
From
please.
your narrative.
Let me handle this, Emily. Hassan, just before I come to the two people who are with me here, I just need some clarity here because it seems like you're dancing around whether you think October the 7th was
Piers, why
justified
are we
or not.
doing this? Why are we doing this back and forth masterbation? I've already given you
Yeah,
my
Piers,
fucking
why are you
position.
doing this?
I'm
He's
sick and
happy.
tired
It's
of
Jews
repeating it
being
over and over
killed.
again.
Okay,
Because
I just
it's
asked
Jews,
this-
it's okay.
Ask this
Emily,
demon
stop
next to
talking.
me
Group, it's
wearing
not
a
okay.
fucking
Come
idea
back
of
to you.
dog
Only when
tag.
it's Jews, it's okay.
Please
Ask
stop
this
shouting
fucking
at each
demon next
other.
to me wearing an
This
idea of
demon
dog tag
next to
if
me.
she actually thinks is
Bro, why? He's not going to beat the anti-Semitic allegations. He's not going to beat the allegations if he does the fucking ask this demon with the dog tags next to me. Like, come on, dude.
Israel's
No,
actions are
bring them
justifiable.
home.
Do you
It's
see
to bring
me
the
rocking
hostages
fucking-
home. The hostages
All right,
that you
it's talking
rightly
over each
believe
other.
belong in
matter.
the
You know what
tunnels
it
of
is.
Gaza.
I'm gonna give you
why
two-
it
wait,
is.
what was it?
The hostage.
She actually thinks Israel's
No,
actions are
bring them
justifiable.
home.
Do you
It's
see
to
me
bring the
rocking
hostages
fucking-
home. The hostages
All right,
that you
it's talking
rightly
over each
believe
other.
belong in
All right.
the
You know what
tunnels
it
of
is.
Gaza.
I'm going to give you
why
two.
it looks
I'm going to
that
let you
way.
two
And
calm
it's
What is
down.
the dog tag?
We cannot hear you
You're
when you talk
wearing
over
that
each
to
other.
troll people.
Every time recently, I have someone
Okay.
from both
I'm
sides
wearing
on.
this
Like
to
it goes
troll
like
people.
this.
I'm wearing this rusty necklace.
Please,
because
can you
there's
listen to me,
200 Israeli
Emily?
civilians
Yeah,
in Gaza
All right,
right now.
can you
as
stop
hostages.
doing this to each other, please?
Emily,
Nobody
Emily,
can
can
understand a
you
word
condemn the
either of you
actions
are
of
saying.
Israel?
Now, let me come to Esther and James here. This is one of my problems,
No, I want to
actually.
hear it.
This dude right here, he looks so perturbed, dude. She's been stone faced the entire time, you know, just kind of slightly bemused. This motherfucker, he's like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here.
Emily condemns
No,
the
no,
actions of
Hassan,
Israel.
you
What
will
did you
please
ask her
let me
about that?
moderate the debate.
What did you ask her about?
I don't condemn
30,000
the idea.
people
I've got two
killed.
panelists here who've not had a word yet.
Exactly, because you're a
They
fucking
kidnap
terrorist.
Please stop
civilians from their
talking.
homes. And I think you're a terrorist. And I think you're a terrorist as well.
Okay, well, I'm not the one wearing.
Because
I'm
until
not
the
one
hostages
wearing
are home,
the-
don't expect the
I
war to
love
be
this
over.
motherfucker right
I
here.
know.
Bring
you don't
them
care about the
home.
hostages. If you
I
care
love
about
how
the
you're
hostages,
condemning
you would
me.
be
You are
screaming at
exposing
Benjamin
your
Netanyahu.
own terrorism
Benjamin
on live
Netanyahu
television.
is the hostage
You are
killer.
exposing.
Benjamin Netanyahu has
you should
killed more
condemn
hostages
Hamas.
than
What do
You
I
need
want
to
to
be
think you're
condemning
achieving
Hamas
here?
Talking
for
about.
not only oppressing the Palestinian people, but for spreading terrorism. I don't see your outrage at Hamas. Israel gave Gaza
All right,
back
listen,
in
I would like to,
2005,
please.
and Hamas has turned
Can you
it
both
into a
please?
terrorist
I think Hamas is the
haven.
lesser
Emily and
Building a
Hassan,
civil
can you
war.
please show some
Shame on
courtesy
you.
This is
Hamas
such-
is the lesser evil in
This
comparison
is such
to Israel.
memes,
Can you please stop
dude.
talking, both of you, and
You
let the
hear
other two panelists have a
You want a
say?
soundbite, Pierce? I'll give you a
them some
soundbite.
courtesy. Please, some courtesy for your co-panelists here. Now, Esther, this is one of the problems I have with this whole debate, is that increasingly it just descends into a screaming match between pro-Palestinians and pro-Israelis.
And the biggest losers are the
She has
victims
no
of this
respect.
war. 33,000 dead Palestinians, over 1,500 dead Israelis. These are the biggest victims of this because you're shouting at each other and nothing is getting, like, you're completely, forget having no courtesy for us. You're completely disrespecting actual.
Yeah, you know what? I don't even know what this woman's whole deal is, but again, I have so little respect for people who have a very strong position on an issue, but they have no desire to fix the problem, right? If you have an issue that you care about so goddamn much, don't you think that you would be like trying super hard to think of some kind of solution that would be actually super effective, right? Something that would actually, you know, get rid of the issue at hand, or at least mitigate the issue at hand, or something that could be like long lasting, or at least a step in the right direction that is possible. Do you not have that drive in you whatsoever? I just don't understand the mindset of like, my side is 100% correct 100% of the time. There is no ground that I can give like on every single fucking issue. And that's the way that it is with Hassan. And like, at least on this issue, that's the way it is with her. I don't know anything else about her, but like, I don't know if there's a single issue in my mind that there couldn't be some compromise where there's like some level of harm mitigation that is done while still being able to get some sort of legislation through. I can't think of a single issue. No, there is no big issue facing our country right now that I don't think that there could be like some compromise on so that we can get something done. Do I think what's wrong in principle? Like, other than the form of Zionism I would support, do you think Zionism is still something you'd agree with ideologically as a right for the Jews to have a nation state. I don't really care that much about Zionism at all, to be honest. I don't care about Zionism at all. Israel is a state, and it's not going away. What is the solution for this like perpetual fucking warfare? That's literally all I care about in regards to Israel-Palestine. What is an acceptable solution that we can move forward, right? It's never going to happen as long as we have fucking insane retards constantly fucking screaming at each other like Hassan and whoever the fuck this lady is.
Victims of this conflict, which, by the way, didn't happen in a vacuum. And I think that's the most important thing to say about this. None of this happened in a vacuum. Of course, October the 7th was an atrocity, and it was completely unjustified. There was no justification for butchering people in the way that they did. But it didn't happen in a vacuum. A lot of the people that live in Gaza weren't even born at the time that Hamas came in power. So I really I despise this. You're a terrorist sympathizer, you're a genocide supporter, all of this, when really the people that we should be talking about deserve better.
Okay, James, on the wider point of these protests.
Well, I couldn't get to that part because I wanted to describe what the apartheid is, and Emily cut in immediately to chirp about some random shit.
Okay, you were both abusing each other. It was very unedifying.
It was very
let me ask James. James, on the protests.
Yeah, dude.
On the protests, look, I believe in the right to protest. That's an absolute bedrock of any democracy. But I don't believe in the right to support terror groups publicly, or to chant about support for Hamas, or to chant about Intifada, which is a violent uprising. Where's the line for you with these?
I agree. I think we have to condemn what Hamas did, and I don't think the words that have been used so far have been strong enough. I mean, it was the worst thing we've seen in a very long time. It was disgusting.
One second. I'm super curious. Jesus Christ. The largest age group is 19 and below. And under 25 makes up easily half, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, easily half, more than half. That's insane, actually.
Appalling, awful for everyone involved.
Well, actually, is that insane? Age demo graphics USA. Let me actually. Don't we have like a older population? Come on. 18 to 44 years old. Under 18 is 22%. Okay, yeah, we have a much older. That is crazy.
I also have a lot of sympathy, if not, I can't think of a bigger word, for the people of Gaza. It's awful, and I will agree with you. I do want a free Palestine, and I also want a free and successful Israel, but I don't want innocent people murdered. So, yeah, you can't go to a protest and start shouting about support for Hamas. That's insane.
Isn't it ironic that something like this has become a haven for like the mentally unwell? You're talking about something as serious as a conflict in Israel and Gaza, and for some reason you have really uneducated people that are clearly 20 years ago would have been in an asylum supporting this openly, not even knowing the conflict, not even knowing the context of what they're supporting. And for some reason we even give it airtime. That's what upsets me. These people don't deserve airtime.
Right? Everyone is so triggered on both sides, on all sides, and rightly so, because a lot of terrible stuff.
Did you see Hassan? He was so triggered, and then this guy says all sides. He's like, okay, at least he's criticizing the Jews too.
Everyone is so triggered on both sides, on all sides, and rightly so, because a lot of terrible stuff has happened. So that's where the emotion is coming from. But really, I think we all want the same thing, and that is for innocent people to not be murdered or slain in the streets.
Right. I mean, look, Hassan. Hang on, Emily. Something? Please, I'll come to you. Let me just ask Hassan. When you and Emily go at each other like you just did, nobody wins. I mean, no one can really understand a word you're saying because you're shouting over each other. You end up just calling each other terrorists. There's no sensible dialogue here. There's no constructive conversation. It's just two implacably opposed sides abusing each other. Do you understand that?
You know what's really funny too? Like this just popped into my head from my lefty days. Like the lefty line for a criticism of this panel would be like, look at these two liberals. They're sitting there jerking themselves off in an academic way, right? Without like recognizing the true like bad guy in the situation. When these people are like, hey, listen, my value is less civilian death. when people are shouting at each other like this, it's just virtue signaling back and forth, and we're not actually getting anything done. Piers is 100% correct here. Like, nobody's hearing what either of you guys are saying. You're just calling each other terrorists. No, I'm not getting any more information out of that. I don't know what you want to see come out of all of this. Like, but the lefties, they think that a strong, unmoving stance with zero capitulation on literally any aspect of anything that they want to happen is the only way to go forward. It's the only like real authentic way to engage with any topic. They don't want a solution. They want to be in control. Like, and don't get me wrong, the far right person is also more likely like that. I just don't know as much about her positions, but based off of what I can assume about her, I'm going to make an assumption that that is how she is as well. God bless you too, Iced.
Yeah, listen, Pierce, okay? This is going to always be a very heated discussion, okay? Having a conversation about how heated this discussion is utterly unproductive. Every single moment.
No, it's not having a discussion about how heated the fucking discussion is. You fucking ape. You fucking retard. What is wrong with you? He's saying, like, do you not see that, like, in the position that we're in, we can have a productive conversation about like what both sides want to see happen, what both sides can agree to and what they can't agree to, and then like trying to take that first step, at least the very, 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 very least. We can try to like take that first step, but the way that you're engaging does not allow for that. The way that you're engaging allows only for this type of engagement, screaming back and forth with the extremes of both sides having the only voice. You don't want a solution unless it's a final solution. Like, what do you want, Hassan?
That we use on air, not talking about every single university building being desecrated, destroyed. The fact that we're having this conversation in the eve of hundreds of mass graves being unearthed right now in many different parts of Gaza around hospitals that Israel had laid siege to is disgusting. I agree. I came on here, as I have done last time as well, and as I will probably do in the future.
Wait. What? Mass graves? Mass graves we knew about? I don't know about any fucking mass graves. Gaza mass grave? Oops, I didn't mean to open that in a new window. What the fuck is this? What do we know? Oh my god, the fucking ad at the top. Discovery of mass graves at 2 Gaza hospitals said by Palestinian authorities to contain hundreds of bodies have triggered calls by the UN rights chief and others for international investigation. While not defined under international law, a mass grave is a burial site containing multiple bodies. Okay, I was about to say, do y'all remember a long fucking time ago, there was the Lauren Southern versus the serfs debate, and they were describing a mass grave, but it wasn't multiple people buried in one hole. It was like a graveyard that no longer had grave markers anymore, right? So, like, I was about to say, like, is this that kind of mass grave? Or is this, like... Let's see here. Some of them had their hands tied. Well, if they start posting evidence of that, okay, we'll have to see. Again, I'm not a like 100% Israel stan. So if they were fucking lining people up and shooting them into fucking mass graves, I'm not gonna have any kind words for them.
future as well, with one simple goal in mind, which is to address all of the misinformation that surrounds stuff like this. As far as the crackhead Barbie thing goes, yeah, she's a random TikTok influencer who gives a shit about what she has to say. She's obviously doing it for clout. But the students over at Columbia, okay, the students that I have talked to at the Columbia University Apartheid Divest group, the students that I've talked to from Jewish Voice for Peace.
All right, Emily, let me just ask you the same thing I asked Hassan.
Oh,
When you
was that a
guys
cut?
scream at each other and call each other terrorists, it doesn't obviously achieve anything other than it becomes unintelligible to the audience. You know, is there not a better way we can have this conversation?
Funnily enough, correct. And funnily enough, I have the same exact answer as Hassan. My job here is to make sure that I'm debunking false narratives that Hassan is clearly spewing. My job here is to call out hypocrisy. And I just saw another one where he's saying that crackhead Barney, whoever the hell that girl was, is a lunatic, but Aaron...
Is it Barney or Barbie? Everyone on this panel has said Barney and Barbie. Which one is it? Is it crackhead Barney?
Bushnell, who lights himself on fire, is a hero. You can't pick and choose whatever fits your narrative. And I keep on repeating that over and over again because the Palestinian movement will literally just take what they can get, spew all of the truth into their false narrative, spread misinformation, and then you say that we're the liars. You tell me I'm wearing an IDF dog tag. I'm wearing a bring them home for the hostages that you... No, it says bring them home.
What does it say?
I'm wearing an IDF dog tag. I'm wearing a bring them home for the hostages that you... No, it says bring them home.
You're using the hostages as a simple political tool to make propaganda in the West. Is quite disgusting. The protests that are happening in Israel right now are massive.
Are a political tool?
And those protests...
What the fuck are the... I'm sorry. This is actually fucking so... For how much Hassan likes to call people like inhuman, like, you know, pig dogs and shit like that he likes to call people. Like the idea that being concerned about the hostages who are being held by a terrorist group, they're just tools to spread a narrative. They're literally key to the entire conflict. Yeah, I know. There is no question about him being a joke, but it's key to the entire conflict currently happening.
Yes.
Why?
You are using humans in captivity as a political tool. It's so obvious.
Why, Hassan? Why are you dehumanizing the hostages? Because I have no problem admitting the Palestinians deserve better.
Not.
I feel terrible.
You're using them as a political pawn.
I can say that.
If you cared about the hostages.
They're a key part to the entire thing. Why do you think that the negotiations have broken down at every single fucking point? Either Israel wants all of the hostages released, or, you know, like too many hostages released for Hamas. Hamas doesn't want to release any of the hostages because then they lose some of their negotiating power. Like it's key to the entire fucking thing. It's part of the conversation. You can't talk about the current Gaza-Israel war, or Hamas-Israel war, however you want to fucking call it, and not talk about the fucking hostages. 1.5 speed, I'm scared we wouldn't be able to understand them. I thought about that.
You would be in Tel Aviv right now
using a
alongside.
Let me bring in James. Let me
Let
bring in James, please.
I'm sorry that I can't.
Please, let me bring in James.
I agree with both of you.
Sorry, can you please, when I say stop talking, please stop talking. We've got 4 people here. James.
If anyone is using hostages, surely it's Hamas, Hassan.
True.
How can you say that? How can you use that argument? That's a crazy thing to say. It's Hamas that have taken these people from their homes,
tens of thousands of people in
murdered their
Israel.
relatives.
There are currently tens of thousands of Israeli citizens right now in the streets of Israel, in the streets of Tel Aviv, outside of Benjamin Netanyahu's house, protesting every single day. What are they protesting? They're protesting for Benjamin Netanyahu to facilitate a ceasefire with Hamas so that they can actually bring the hostages home. That is precisely the number one goal of the family members of the hostages.
Who
and
is
if
using
anyone
the hostages?
on this panel
Who is using the hostages as leverage?
They would recognize the reality that, listen, just listen.
You didn't listen.
Netanyahu isn't using well, unless something has changed that I don't know about, I don't think that Netanyahu is using the hostages as leverage in these negotiations, because he has no leverage with the hostages. Hamas has leverage with the hostages.
Listen to my question.
Listen to what I'm saying, and you will understand perhaps what I'm trying to imply
very
here.
patronizing.
Utilizing the hostages.
I still, well, as a former leftist, I can tell you exactly how it goes. There is class struggle. There is, you know, the boiling it all the way down. There is the elites versus the people, right? And put those in quotes because it can, what the elites are and what the people are can fit into a million different things, right? We can see Marxist literature that goes back to, I think, like the 60s, maybe late 50s of, like the critical race theory Marxism, where people are talking about, the elites and the people. We're defining these as the oppressors and the oppressed in this situation are black people and white people. Black people are the people, white people are the elites. And, like, it's not a wholly unuseful lens through which to look at politics, right? I don't think it's wholly unuseful. But using it as your only lens is insane, right? So what they see in the Palestinian cause is there are people that are being oppressed, therefore they are the people, and Israel is the elites because they are the ones that are oppressing the people. So therefore Israel is all evil. There is no justification for anything. There are no shades of gray. It is the people versus the elites. When it comes to the LGBTQ members supporting Palestine and saying like there is no LGBT liberation until Palestinian liberation, a lot of like especially recent Marxist thinkers and movements have started to lump in I hate to call it intersectionality because I don't know if that's exactly how it goes, but it's a we're all being oppressed, therefore if one of us isn't liberated, none of us are liberated. Even though like the average Gazan probably would throw a gay person off of a roof. Also, America bad. America supports Israel, therefore Israel bad. Yes, 100%.
I am being patronizing. I don't know who the fuck you are, and you're over here chirping all the way from fucking London about Palestine and doing a both sides are fucking fine type bullshit. Where you're talking about how you want to fucking free Palestine, but also simultaneously, both sides got a lot going on. Shut the fuck up. You don't know anything.
Yeah, both sides have genuine reasons to hate the other fucking side. You fucking moron. You fucking baboon. You knuckle-dragging fucking troglodyte. Why do you think the situation is as tense as it is right now? Because both sides have equal reason to fucking hate each other. They both kill each other. They're both doing this constantly. They're both doing it. You have no desire to save Palestinian people unless that is at the expense of Israel. You have no desire to find a solution. You just want what you want. But you have no basis for that outside of Israel is bad.
Okay? I don't give a shit about what your perspective is.
I agree. Hassan doesn't like
you don't fit easily into the Palestine group or the Israel group. So therefore, I don't know what your position is. Just because I'm not an extremist on one side or the other doesn't mean that my position is not clear. This motherfucker was ultra clear earlier. His value is he wants there to be less civilian deaths, all right? He wants there to be a cessation of hostilities. He wants there to be a lasting solution. And he wants to have a conversation about how do we achieve that. And retard Hassan over here with his fucking 2 brain cells that are constantly fucking battling each other for a scrap of the oxygen that barely reaches it to his tiny fucking head. He just can't conceive of the fact that like maybe, just maybe, not everyone is a fucking political extremist like me that wants the most farthest fucking policy. Policy. He doesn't think about policy. He just wants the good guys, in his view, to win and the bad guys, the Jews, to lose. And whatever happens, happens.
Have to say, so you're wrong. It's Hassan's way or the highway.
I mean, you are. There is no.
And also, let's be clear, lady, you're probably the exact same way on the other side, okay? That's what should happen, the ceasefire. I mean, like, I'm not against a fucking ceasefire. I want there to be a ceasefire. I want there to be a cessation of violence. But we have to balance that with what is going to bring about the best possibility for a lasting peace. What is going to bring about the best possibility for a lasting peace? It's probably going to be Hamas has to fucking go, right? Does that mean that I want them to, just continue until they kill everyone in Gaza, therefore all of Hamas is dead by that transitive value? No, I don't think that, right? Netanyahu, that government, the Likud government, needs to fucking go. They're absolutely fucking dog shit. They have no desire to bring about a peace until they get everything that they fucking want. Hamas is a terrorist organization. both sides have to make major changes, but Hamas will never change. At least in Israel, there is a democracy where people are pissed off at Likud and they might vote him out. Like that's the only way to move forward. Out of curiosity, even though you're banned on Twitch, are you still allowed to talk to Twitch streamers? No, I'm not. Have I considered debating Hassan? Hassan doesn't debate people. Well, I say he doesn't debate people. He doesn't debate people unless he can go on Piers Morgan, or unless he can pull a 16-year-old from his chat to debate. Yeah.
Genocide. Is there a both sides of genocide? There is no both sides.
Well, the thing is, it's interesting you should mention the hostages.
What is in the Hamas charter? They want Jewish genocide, but that's okay. But the Jewish genocide is okay.
If you're talking about the well-being of the
hostages, let me like scoot back just a couple of seconds, because Mr. Black Metal follower, 100%. The worst thing about this conflict is that it's hard for me to choose which group I should have empathy for. Because when I check the Israel-Palestine conflict, I got to say the history of this conflict is clusterfucked as hell. Yes, it is. Both sides have high levels of blame for where they're at now. Nobody is wholly innocent. Nobody is like the majority shareholder of the evil. I think that they're both doing horrible things to each other fucking constantly, right? There have been brief moments in time where one side or the other side will have someone that has like a quarter of an ounce of political savvy where they can possibly get something through to, fix the situation, but it's only one at a time. Both sides need to like sit down and be like, hey, you know what? I'm kind of fucking done with this. I'm kind of fucking done with spending half of my fucking national budget on missiles to send to the other side. I'm kind of fucking done with like the constant bullshit. So like someone has to step up to do that. Now, that doesn't mean that they have to sell out their side completely. The Palestinians should have someone on their side that is going to adequately advocate on their behalf so that they have some leverage. And Israel should, it's got to be the U.S., but Israel should have someone on their side that's going to adequately advocate for their side. And you just got to fucking negotiate it. And if someone decides, hey, you know what? I'm not, we're just going to pull out of this, then you know what? We're just going to live in this situation for the rest of our fucking, human existence.
There is no both sides on a genocide. Is there a both sides on a genocide? There is no both sides.
Well, the thing is, it's interesting you should mention the hostages.
What is in the Hamas charter? They want Jewish genocide, but that's okay. But Jewish genocide is okay.
If you're talking about the well-being of the if you're talking about the well-being of the hostages, what sense did it make for the IDF to flatten about 70% of Gaza? Because I completely agree. Bring the hostages home.
I mean, yeah, but like, Hassan thinks he has someone on his side here, but like I gotta say, I don't think this lady is nearly as far left as he is. He's hoping for someone to be on his side.
If you look at Gaza, the topography of Gaza right now, it looks like a pancake. So I'm sorry, this whole argument of Hamas using them as human tools, fine, but the IDF has also been using it to continue that campaign. If you were told that if, God forbid, if your relative was one of the hostages and you saw what's happening right now, and I met someone whose mother is a hostage, and he said he didn't want his mother and her being taken to be used in the name of violence. Right now, he's sitting at home wondering, okay, what is the logic of trying to bring my mother home when you flattened Gaza? Please explain that to us.
So, can I pose a question
you might very well pull those hostages from under.
Okay, let Emily respond to that.
Everyone wants to criticize the IDF's response, but nobody wants to tell me what should Israel be doing to retaliate October 7th, eradicate Hamas from preventing another.
Literally, just give us a game plan. What is your goal? That's like my biggest criticism of the IDF at this moment. Like, what is the explicit war aims that you have, right? For Israel right now, they've said, we want to eliminate Hamas and bring the hostages home. What does that look like? What does it mean to eliminate Hamas? Does that mean, take out their leadership? Does that mean wipe out 70% of their forces? Does that mean, what does it mean to eradicate Hamas? You have to, if they gave us like what they want to do, at least then I could have a stronger position to either support or, not support their actions, right? But at the very beginning, I was pretty supportive because, fuck Hamas, right? But this has been going on, 8 months now? It's gone on for a long time. It's time for us to start thinking, hey, what is the end goal? I don't know what they have and haven't achieved besides blowing the fuck up out of Gaza.
October 7th and bring the hostages
I have
home.
an idea.
Do you have a solution?
I have an idea. Do not flatten Gaza and potentially pull your own hostages up from under the rubble, like have been done with thousands of Palestinians. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Have you found any
So
of them
you're
under the
saying that
rubble?
you don't have an answer.
That is the answer.
So you
don't
have
kill
an
your own
answer.
hostages.
But you're quick
That's
to
an
condemn the
answer.
IDF.
That's not an answer, actually. Like, sorry, L to the lady that I've been gassing up the entire time. L. Like, yeah, I agree in principle, but like that's not an actual like game plan. I don't have a, to be clear, I'm a retard on the internet, okay? I am not a military expert. I probably know more about like basically anything going on with this situation than most other people, especially after looking into the Ukraine and Russia situation. Know a little bit about like, you know, modern military stuff. I don't know what the fuck Israel should do, but I would like to see what they are trying to do, you know? Finger snapping and triggering my autism, true.
How
But
does
you
that
don't have
sound?
an answer.
I also
How
have
about not
an
killing the
answer.
hostages?
Very interesting.
I have an answer.
Thank you
Okay.
for proving my point.
It's called the
Yes,
dissolution
Hassan.
of the apartheid regime. That's what it's.
There is no solution to Hassan except for the complete eradication of the state of Israel. Which, guess what? You don't have a solution either. You fucking... I cannot describe the level of hate I have for people like Hassan. Oh my fucking God.
It's called dissolve the apartheid
So
regime.
what would you like to
allow
see happen,
Palestinians
Hassan?
breathing room. Do you not understand the English language?
We're
Dissolve
delayed.
the
It's
apartheid
delayed.
regime.
You need a Xanax, first of all.
Does that mean destroy the state of Israel? Does that mean that the Likud party needs to go? Does that mean a one party or one state solution under Israel? Does that mean a one state solution under Palestine? You're speaking in vagaries. Yeah, nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about. You are speaking the English language and you're speaking so many words, but you choose to say fucking nothing.
need a Xanax. Okay, so should Israel do
Yeah, I'm
to
sorry.
the West Bank what
30,000
they did to
Palestinians have been
Gaza?
ruthlessly slaughtered by the
Should
Israeli
Israel
state.
give
It makes
back
me a
the
little
land so that
upset
it can
when
turn
someone is
into another
defending that.
Gaza? Is that what you'd like to see? Another terrorist haven launching rockets all day instead of turning into Singapore? Because that's what they did in 2005.
Wait, hold on. What?
Releasing the hostages isn't the only priority Israel has. Defeating Hamas, even if the hostages will be killed, is a much higher priority for Israeli security. That's demonic. You need a Xanax for Saul, yeah.
What is Singapore? The
billions
West
of
Bank.
dollars in
Hold on,
aid they
is the
turned
West
into
Bank
building
Singapore?
tunnels. Is that what you
Wait,
like
wait,
to
wait,
see?
wait. I don't know. Have I
bombing
gone
Singapore
deaf?
every day.
Sorry,
What,
Emily,
is
is the
Singapore
West
an
Bank
open-air
supposed to be
prison?
Singapore?
What are you talking about?
Is the
Wait,
West Bank
what?
supposed to be? Wait, hold
We
on.
see
Which
how even launching rockets all day instead of turning into Singapore, because that's what they did in 2005.
Wait, hold
We
on.
see
Which
how that
one is
works.
Singapore?
The
The West
billions of
Bank.
dollars in
Hold on,
aid they
is the
turned
West
into
Bank
building
Singapore?
tunnels. Is that what you
Wait,
like
wait,
to
wait,
see?
wait. I don't.
Who's
Have I
bombing
gone deaf?
Singapore every day?
Sorry,
What,
Emily,
is
is the
Singapore
West
an
Bank
open-air
supposed to be
prison?
Singapore?
Where is Singapore coming into this conversation at all?
What are you talking about?
Is the West Bank supposed to
The
be
West
Singapore?
Bank received. The West Bank has a port. They can import and export. Israel gave them a great piece of land. They received billions of dollars in aid, not only
Israel
from the
gave
U.S.,
them a great
but
piece of
Israel
land?
gave. Are you
No.
mad? They had a.
The West Bank. West Bank port? There's a port in Gaza. She must have misspoke, right? Oh wait, hold on. No, if we look at that, maybe right here they have a port so that they can trade with Jordan. I don't know how wide and deep the the Jordan River is, but I assume that you can't like ship in as much as you think you could into there, right? Okay, it's possible, but I think she misspoke, right?
Chance to rebuild, but they spent the last 15 plus years crying
Oh, wow.
that they don't have
Okay,
enough
the
land
West Bank
because there
is
is never
Singapore.
enough land for them instead of rebuilding. But that's okay. Build terrorist tunnels. Don't build hotels and don't rebuild
Israel
civilization.
has
Just build
not
terrorist
allowed
tunnels to keep hostages
Palestinians
in.
to have a nation state that they deserve by international law since the inception of the Israeli nation state. What you are saying is insane to me. The fact that you brought up the last 15 years as Palestinians crying is disgusting.
Oh, I have one more question.
You are a disgusting little monster who thinks that not offering contiguity to the Palestinians in the form of a state, which is under international law, is just simply Palestinians
I have one
crying.
question.
Okay?
This West Bank,
don't want a
Singapore.
two-state
Hold on.
solution.
This
They want
West
a
Bank,
one-state
Singapore.
solution that eradicates the Israelis, which is not an option.
Fine. This West Bank,
You're wrong.
Singapore. What place
You're wrong.
does the settlement?
That is not necessarily wrong. Okay, especially under Hamas leadership. Come on. But like, can't Hassan or Hamas Piker here can't criticize Hamas because he's scared they'll lose subscriber.
Playing that. Please paint a picture of how the West Bank of Singapore or whatever, Singapore of the West Bank. How does this illegal settlements fit into that?
I think you're completely missing. You're missing the picture.
Just explain to me
Israel
how the
wanted to
settlements
give
fit into
them
that picture.
a piece of land. I'm explaining it.
Okay, I'm listening.
The picture is they got a great piece of land to turn into society. Instead of turning it into civilized society,
Who did?
Israel gave the land to Gaza. They
So then why
withdrew.
the
They
Israeli
removed
settlements?
It's not
Israelis
Israel's
from
land
their
to give.
homes.
It's not Israel.
Oh my God. Is she calling Gaza the West Bank because it's on the west side of the country? Is she from Israel? Who are these people? Pro-Israel journalist Emily Austin. Is she from Israel, or is she... Okay. So she's not Israeli. Maybe she's just... I wish there was a debate between actual historians and professional diplomats how to solve this conflict. Well, they've done that, 9 times over the past 80 years? Yeah, she is very strongly Jewish. I mean, I could have guessed that, but...
Land to give. It is not Israel's land to give.
There are no Jews or Israelis. There are no settlements in Gaza.
In the West
they
Bank.
gave it to
in the West
the
Bank.
Palestinians.
They're not in the West Bank.
I'm speaking about Gaza, and now
I'm
you're
asking
changing
about
the
West Bank
narrative.
because I was interested in knowing about Singapore.
I'm telling you that if Israel
Palestinians-
pulls out completely from the West Bank, if Israel pulls out from the West Bank, you can bet your ass it turns into the next Gaza. The world does
And
not
she
need two
does know
Gazas
the
because one
difference.
Gaza has already caused enough damage. If, however,
Yes.
Gaza decides to demand
Every
that
argument with
Hamas
Israel
remove
is about
themselves from
some
power,
hypothetical.
and they can have democracy,
Israel has to do a
then yes,
genocide
there's
because if
potential
Israel
for
doesn't do a
two-state
genocide,
solution.
then the
Gaza
There's
will
no
not.
Sounds a bit
genocide.
like
The
you're
only
victim
genocide
blaming
is the Hamas
Palestinians in
charter that
Gaza.
wants to
You cannot
eradicate
do
the Jews.
defensive genocide.
Wait, what is this guy's...
It's about some
power,
hypothetical.
and they can have democracy.
Israel has to do a
then yes,
genocide
there's
because if
potential
Israel
for a
doesn't do a
two-state
genocide,
solution.
then the Gaza
There's
is
no
not
Sounds a bit
genocide.
like
The
you're
only
victim
genocide
blaming
is the Hamas
Palestinians in
charter that
Gaza.
You
wants to
cannot
eradicate
do
the Jews.
defensive genocide.
You know, it's interesting the word genocide.
There's no
because-
genocide.
Hang on. It's
There's
interesting the
no
word. It's
genocide
interesting. Hang
happening.
on.
It's just
Israel is
buzzwords.
I would love to get a word in,
More power.
please. Interesting the word genocide, because I've listened to all
Okay,
this.
3 more
fractious
minutes, guys.
debate,
We can
everyone
do
talking
it.
over each other. The truth is that actually only one side has publicly said that they wish to pursue a genocide, and that is Hamas. Hamas, after October the 7th, through their official spokesman on camera, said they wanted to do it again and again and again. That is the purest articulation of a genocide imaginable. And the one thing I never hear from the pro-Palestinian side...
Oh my God. I mean, it's on camera. I remember seeing it. I remember reading the fucking the subtitles. All right. I remember the captions. My guy. Why can't people just admit the bad parts on their side, you know?
You
is
really think
what Israel was
Piers,
actually...
Piers,
Hang on.
Piers,
No, don't
Piers.
interrupt me.
So one
But I haven't
Hamas
asked you a
official,
question yet.
One Hamas guy.
Sorry, I
But
need to
that's
ask you a
ridiculous.
question.
You're being a ridiculous person.
I'm not
You're
being
being a ridiculous person.
I'm just saying, nobody ever
Because
tells
how
me...
many Israeli officials, even on your show, have said we should keep doing what we have been doing to Gaza over and over again? How does that not register in the same genocidal intent? If you think what that dude was saying, which was, by the way, ridiculous what he was saying, the Hamas official was saying, is that we're going to do October 7th over and over.
Because even if you want to say the Israelis are being genocidal, at least they have the fucking, good sense to have an air of plausible deniability. Even if you want to say that they are genocidal, which I don't think that it is a genocide going on over there. I think that that's a very strong word that is being thrown around way too often nowadays. That I've done a unfortunate amount of research into. But even if you want to say Israel's being genocidal, they at least have, the good grace to, in the self-preservation mindset, to have plausible deniability. Hamas is just like, yeah, we're going to kill the Jews. Yeah, we're going to carve up all your fucking babies. Yeah, we're going to go in there. We're going to do it again, bitch. What are you going to do about it? And then they got flattened.
Over
But he
again.
said it.
We are justified in doing it over and over again. I find that to be abhorrent. However, what you fail to recognize is that's the genocidal intent, but not Amalek. That's the genocidal intent, but not saying we are fighting human animals. And that's why we have to cut off their food, their water, and their electricity. That was Defense Minister Yoav Gallant.
There we go with the lies
Benjamin
again.
Netanyahu
You're saying
has
Israel
routinely
cuts
talked
off their
about this over and over
electricity.
again.
They don't even
Israeli
provide
interior
their
security-
electricity. You're
Israeli-
saying they cut off their water. They
Israeli
don't cut off their water.
politicians-
You are
Israeli-
spewing lies on national
They did for a
television.
while.
I think
Provide
so.
them
Hang
with-
on.
No, because I'm not
Again,
gonna
you're
stop.
talking
I'm not
over
gonna
each
let you
other.
spew lies.
Some of
I'm
the
sorry,
some of the
name me another
comments.
army that
There's no
provides
doubt,
aid to
Emily.
people they're at war with.
Some of the
Only
comments.
Israel.
Some of the.
Israel is.
No, Pierce,
All
I'm not
right.
letting him spew.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna respond to that, Black Metal. I can't.
Misinformation.
I'll get in
Karen
trouble.
Archer on the
It's
fucking
pointless.
planet, I
Lies
swear to
on
God.
television.
This is pointless. We're getting
No,
nowhere.
because
But
he's
thank you.
Yeah,
spewing
did Yoav Gallant
misinformation.
not say that?
Israel's
What's Hassan's opinion on Russia? Oh man, did you miss the Hassan lead up to the invasion memes? Where Ukraine wasn't going to get invaded, they weren't going to get invaded, they weren't going to get invaded. Everyone that's saying this is just like a warhawk hog that wants to kill, as many Russians as possible. And then he half walked that back, and then he's still anti-Ukraine to this day.
cutting off electricity,
Okay.
water, and aid.
We're
Just
getting-
Did
spewing
Defense
lies. I'm
Minister
not gonna let
Yoav
you do it.
Gallant say we are fighting human animals or not? Answer that question. Did Defense Minister Yoav
Yes,
Gallant
yes,
say
yes.
we are
Hamas
fighting
is
human
human
animals and we have to
animals.
cut off their
Hamas-
electricity,
correct.
cut off their food, cut off
Correct.
their water?
Okay.
Yeah, the slight
You know what? I'm going to cut
Israel
off. I'm
provides
going to cut off this
79%
debate.
of their electricity. The rest is Hamas.
I'm going to cut off the
That's
debate
not
because we're
Israel.
getting
Israel
absolutely
provides-
nowhere. But I
Okay.
appreciate everybody joining me. Thank you very much indeed.
that was a long silence and a dead stare from him. Oh man, this is here as like final roundup thoughts real quick. Hassan is obviously ideologically driven and audience captured to the point where he can't ever give his full take on anything because otherwise he'll lose subscriber, or if he gives his full take, then only the tankies in his audience will stay, and that's not enough to support his lifestyle. I don't know what he does and doesn't actually believe. Real quick, I see some new names in chat. If you guys like this shit, please like the stream. Liking the stream helps out way more than you could possibly imagine. Tron, the editor in chat right there, has told me all about the different analytics and all that. So like the stream, that helps me out. And if you like the stream, please subscribe to the channel. Right now, the streams are a little sporadic because I have a lot of real life stuff. I'm doing a lot of stuff for school. If you've never seen me before, I'm a political science student going to don't know where I'm going with it yet. Don't know. I have a couple of job opportunities. I'm going to be moving to DC at the end of the summer. So I'm saving up money for that. If you guys want to support me, there's a link in the YouTube stream description. I'm really bad at shilling myself also, okay? Really bad at shilling myself because I hate doing it. I hate asking for money. We also have memberships, and it really helps out a lot, both with YouTube analytics, helps me out financially, obviously. It's that's my pitch. I really fucking hate asking people to subscribe. I really hate asking people to like the videos, donate, etc., etc. But I'm a college student and I'm poor and I am moving. So let's see, where are we? Let's talk to chat for just a minute. What are we thinking? Oh my god, I'm all the way on the edge of the fucking camera. Let's see here. The worst thing about Hassan is that he will never change his beliefs. He will lose his fan base that he develops. Well, yeah, that's the thing. I started out streaming as a socialist and was hyper interested in ideology, just like the concept of ideology. I read communist theory, socialist theory, and then like I started getting into all these debates with people, and I needed to learn more, so I started learning about liberalism, and then I had to read fucking fascist literature, and I know so much. And the more I learned about like about these ideologies, the more I learned about like economics for these debates, the more I learned about the political system in the United States, the more towards where I was pre-commie I've become, to the point where I am an amalgamation of progressive, neoliberal, and utopian, I guess, is what you could call me. I want there to be solutions that are actually possible and actually feasible and actually effective, you know? Going to your future, be proud of yourself and believe you can do it. Hey, you know what? Thank you. I am actually, for the first time in my life, feeling like I'm progressing in a direction that I feel is meaningful. My college career has been 7 changes of my major. I started off as a fucking vocal performance major, singing in operas and shit. And now I listen to metal, and I'm interested in politics. But here, does this work for what? What is this a link to, Mr. Pandaman? Also, I'm sorry to chat. I don't know why chat isn't showing up on I don't know why chat isn't showing up on my stream. Let me see here. Copy. What is this that you want me to look at?
Mom forced me to be
a girl, cross-dressed, boy to girl, M to F, gender swap zone. What the fuck is this, my guy? Have I seen this type of content before? I don't know. AI generated like fake shit? Probably. By pure chance got a short on my feed. Hey, thank Tron for that. Tron is a algorithm monster who wants to get this in front of more people. But just to like finish my thought from earlier, you said that Hassan will never change his beliefs. There was a definite point, and I think that this happens with most people who are interested in politics, especially if you are talking about politics in front of an audience, where if you start off with one perspective and you gain an audience through sharing that perspective, if you change your perspective, you are possibly going to lose subscriber. And me, I never saw this as like, well, no, there was a possibility of me doing this full time, like long term. I did this full time for a while, but the goal of my stream has always been like chilling, learning. For me personally, interacting with chat, I really like that, and challenging myself. And I've challenged myself to the point where I have lost a lot of friends online because of this, because they did not have the like curiosity to change their beliefs whatsoever. And there is no room for disagreement anymore. Even if you agree with like 90% or 80% of what the other person's saying, right? Any disagreement is like pure heresy, but we're not doing, we don't do that here on this channel. Oh yeah, no, I'm pretty careful with links from randoms. I unfortunately, YouTube doesn't allow me to, or doesn't allow for links to be shared in chat unless the person is a mod. Mostly what we do here is we'll watch a video, I'll give my take on it. I'm currently workshopping how to get into more debates because that's what I really like to do. Debating people is super fun. I love arguing. But let's see here. Once I was an anarchist at 14, libertarian at 19, now I'm a liberal conservative, thanks to Short Fat Otaku. Oh yeah, SFO, fucking Dev is super fucking cool. I like that guy a lot. I think that some of the things that he has put out on fascism and socialism were right at the end point. There was, I think, at the beginning of 2022 was like the absolute descent into no longer being a socialist. And then I had a lot of fear of hating the people that were fucking with me. There's a lot of lore to this channel, okay? But there were a lot of people that were like dogpiling me on a fairly consistent basis for what I thought were pretty reasonable takes. And at a certain point towards like the middle of 2022, I feel like I was scared that I was just becoming an anti-socialist rather than having an actual opinion of my own. And I think that some of Dev's videos were even-handed enough to like criticize both sides of an argument that I was like, okay, where he's at is not quite where I'm at. And I don't think I could go that far, even though it's not that far from where I'm at, but I can see where he's at. And I feel comfortable now where I'm looking at him, the Sitch and Adam dudes. Who else around that time was I watching that was like a pretty... No, I think that like those two channels in terms of that feeling were pretty pivotal. And then the ability for me to research topics and the information retention that I have now on all of these topics has like solidified where I'm at. You are just anti-lefty? No, I'm anti whatever the fuck is going on right now, okay? That's where I'm at. Okay, let's see whatever. I just want you to know, by the way, Front Yard Shield, this is almost certainly just like AI generated content, but...
A girl. My mom's new job required us to relocate, and the only available school for me was an all-girls one. Since my dad left us...
Okay, I don't care. Sorry, that's so stupid. Adam is incredibly stupid, but he's lovable. Okay, but he's lovable. Oh, Hassan blocked me on my old Twitter account. I don't think it's a true story, Front Yard Shield. Hi, Hassan, this is pathetic. You know, we cut the bit where I tell you we have a clip of you talking to the students, but it turned out we didn't have it due to a tech error. But if you'd like me to tweet that bit out to prove you're being disingenuous, let me know. You know we cut the bit. Jesus. Could be a true story, but you wouldn't defend it. And you would, I mean, like, I don't think it's a true story in the first place. Like, I would put like such a low confidence on a mom forcing their son to go through gender transformation in order to go to an all-girls school. I would put it below the earth. No, just above the earth being flat. I just don't think it's a true story. Have I ever watched forced feminization stuff in the past, though? No. In fact, I haven't. It's not something that interests me. So, okay, before we end stream, because again, I have a real life and a stable relationship and all of that shit. Let's see. I know that right now, the Supreme Court is hearing arguments on presidential immunity. Let's see if there's anything. Okay, this is only 2 minutes long. Oh, cool. And CBS is less biased.
Now, I think...
Wait, CBS News is media bias fact check. 1 second. I'm actually curious because I don't know much about CBS. CBS. How's it going, Ted? My guy. It's been so fucking long. I love you too, Ted. CBS News. They're a little more biased than I thought they would be in my mind. I thought that they would be like closer to the middle. They're left center biased, but they have a high factual reporting. So we'll watch some of their stuff. Ooh, what about ABC? Sorry, I also recently, because of my even more recent political transformation, I get really ABC News. I get really interested in like some of the like stupider, like more granular things, like how biased a news source is. Okay, cool.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for
Here. Let's watch the 2-minute one first.
And your answer below, I'm going to give you a chance to say if you stay by it. If the president decides that his rival is a corrupt person and he orders the military or orders someone to assassinate him.
Yeah. Also, if you guys want to ever have a conversation with me, I like the more that we get new people in here. If you guys want to invite people to come watch me, like that you're cool with on Discord or Twitter or something, please do. The more people that we have in chat, the more likely I am to have like a day where we do call-ins. Because if I do a day where we have call-ins with just like the chill group that I usually stream to, it's just going to be either no one calls in or I'm going to have like a conversation where neither of us like really disagree all that much, you know? But if you guys ever have like something that you want to like talk to me about, like definitely reach out on the Discord. There's a link on Kick and there's a link in the YouTube description.
Is that within his official acts for which and he orders the military
How's it going, Miss
orders
Squishy?
someone to assassinate him? Is that within his official acts?
No, Front Yard Shield, I think that we are done with our debates.
For which he can get immunity?
It would depend on the hypothetical, but we can see that could well be an official act.
He could, and why? Because he's doing it for personal reasons. He's not doing it like President Obama is alleged to have done it, to protect the country from a terrorist. He's doing it for personal gain. And isn't that the nature of the allegations here?
So far, so good.
He's not doing these acts in furtherance of an official responsibility. He's doing it for personal gain.
I agree with that characterization of the indictment, and that confirms immunity, because the characterization is that there's a series of official acts that were done for an unlawful.
No, because immunity says even if you did it for personal gain, we won't hold you responsible. How could that be?
That's an extremely strong doctrine in this court's case law in cases like Fitzgerald.
Well, we go back to Justice Thomas's question, which was, where does that come from? There are Mika here who tell us that
it sounds like RFK, doesn't it?
Actually talked about whether to grant immunity to the president. And in fact, they had state constitutions that granted some criminal immunity to governors. And yet they didn't take it up. Instead, they passed an impeachment clause that basically says you can't remove the president from office except by a trial in the Senate, but you can impeach him after. So, or you can impose criminal liability. We would be creating a situation in which we would be saying, this is what you're asking us to say, which is that a president is entitled not to make a mistake, but more than that, a president is entitled for total personal gain to use the trappings of his office. That's what you're trying to get us to hold, without facing criminal liability.
So right now, what the big thing that is super interesting to me, like I don't think that this should have gone to the Supreme Court. I think that the Supreme Court should have affirmed the lower court's ruling that obviously, no, the president can't send SEAL Team 6 to assassinate his political rival without criminal prosecution, right? Sorry, I'm looking at chat and it killed my train of thought. Like that should have been cut and done. The only reasonable there are two possibilities right now for why the Supreme Court, I guess there's three, took this up. One, which is this is the hell world option. This is the bad timeline option. Is the Supreme Court is ideologically captured because of so many Trump appointees and conservative justices, and they're going to grant Trump total immunity and, now we live in hell world, right? The second possibility is the middle of the road, which is, I still think that this was a political move to give Trump more time, right? The middle of the road would be, we're going to hear the arguments and then we're going to agree with the lower courts, right? Which just like it gave Trump more time to stall all of his criminal prosecutions before the election. The best case scenario, which I could see I actually see the argument for, but like, damn, the fact that they're allowing a guy who is very possibly very guilty, innocent until proven guilty, but possibly very guilty of trying to coup the fucking government so that he could remain in power. The reason that they're hearing all of these claims on presidential immunity is they don't want there to be an overzealous confirmation of, like presidents don't have immunity from criminal prosecution because there are some situations that a president is put in that could possibly lead to criminal prosecution after office. Like Obama, he did a drone strike in, I think it was Yemen, where a terrorist was killed, but that terrorist was an American citizen, and the terrorist's son was killed in that strike. And because they were an American citizen, they have the right to due process and all of that. And that was a very murky, very murky situation. But there's enough gray there, and at least an argument that like, hey, we're trying to kill fucking terrorists. We're not doing this so that I can stay in power forever. I'm not doing this for personal gain, right? So like, if they're trying to like narrow down what it means to have presidential immunity, that's at least justifiable. But it just sucks that it's giving Trump basically a pass until after the election for his criminal prosecution. The fact that you guys are debating this is insane. In any other country, the president would be in jail. I mean,
joining us here on CBS News 24/7. I'm Lana Zach, and you have been watching our CBS News special report. The Supreme Court has been hearing oral arguments on whether former President Donald Trump is immune.
Lincoln Project tweet about the Supreme Court. Whether a president could be a dictator speaks to how dangerous and dark a path Donald Trump has led America down.
Is a corrupt person.
Oh yeah, we just listened to that.
About President Obama's drone strikes.
So the Office of Legal Counsel looked at this very carefully and determined that, number one, the federal murder statute does apply to the executive branch. The president wasn't personally carrying out the strike, but the aiding and abetting laws are broad. And it determined that a public authority exception that's built into statutes and that applied particularly to the murder statute because it talks about unlawful killing, did not apply to the drone strike. So this is actually the way that the system should function. The Department of Justice takes criminal law very seriously. It runs it through the analysis very carefully with established principles. It documents them, it explains them, and then the president can go forward in accordance with it. And there is no risk of prosecution for that course of activity.
Thank you for your... How about...
Immune from prosecution.
Also, this is going to be the last video that we're going to watch. Probably going to put it on 1.5 speed. Again, I have work here in a couple of minutes. But we'll put this at 1.5 speed. We will check this out. We'll end stream. We're going to send you to a video after stream, and I'll tell you guys about this after we watch this. We're going to watch another video, or I'm going to send you guys to a video that I from my stream Tuesday. And it kind of lays out my thoughts on what's going on right now in the world.
For actions taken while in office. And while the Supreme Court considers this immunity claim, the former president's trial on charges that he tried to overturn the 2020 election is on hold. Now, this is the second case to come before the justices this term that could have major consequences for Trump's political future. Trump's attorney, John Sauer, and the attorney for the special counsel, Michael Dreeben, they both presented their arguments to the court. Have a listen.
I would quote from what Benjamin Franklin said at the Constitutional Convention, which I think reflects best the founders' original understanding and intent here, which is at the Constitutional Convention, Benjamin Franklin said, history provides one example only of a chief magistrate who was subject to public justice, criminal prosecution, and everybody cried out against that.
No, I understand, but since Benjamin Franklin, everybody has thought, including the presidents who held the office, that they were taking this office subject to potential criminal prosecution, no?
I don't. I see the opposite. I see all the evidence going the other way.
The existing system is a carefully balanced framework. It protects the president, but not at the high constitutional cost of blanket criminal immunity. That has been the understanding of every president from the framing through Watergate and up to today. This court should preserve it.
We have full team coverage. I want to start first with CBS News legal contributor and Loyola Law School professor Jessica Levinson. So, Jessica, the justices are trying to determine where that line actually should be drawn. What are your takeaways?
My big takeaway is that they really are struggling with where that line is. I absolutely do not.
Like, fuck Trump for putting us in a position where we have to discuss this, because we have a doctrine already. We have an idea of what this is already. And because people are, you know, when we elect someone to office, they're usually sane enough to not, you know, try to flagrantly break the fucking law. They're usually, you know, respectful enough to, if they lose, they'll just leave office. But Trump couldn't fucking do that because he can't accept that he could ever lose. He couldn't accept the fact that he could ever lose power. Like, this is the problem with Trump. Like, he's calling into question all of these like legally gray matters that every president has tried to stay away from, because they don't want to litigate this, because it would make things really difficult for future presidents to act. But Trump doesn't care about anybody but himself. He doesn't care about this country. He doesn't care about the office of the presidency. He doesn't care about our legal system. He doesn't care about our legislative system. He doesn't care about our government. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about, you know, the citizens of the United States. He cares about the attention that he gets as a result of being the president, and anything that he can do to maintain that attention, to maintain that like cult of personality around him, he will do, even if it is at the cost of how we run our country, even if it's at the cost of the power of the United States going forward. Like, that's why I hate Donald Trump so much, right? Is he funny? Yeah. Do I like want something like necessarily really bad to happen to him outside of like, you know, criminal prosecution for the bad things that he has done? No, not at all. I don't have that kind of hatred for him. I do hate what he has done to discourse in this country. I hate what he's done to like the institutions that we have.
Count to 5, meaning 5 out of the 9 justices on either extreme position, on either that there's no immunity or that there's absolute immunity. There's going to be some test crafted that tells us when a president is immune from criminal prosecution and when he or she is not. And of course, this case isn't just about Trump. It's about every future president. And so what I heard the justices call...
What do you think that sign is supposed to... What are they trying to get across? They have a hammer and sickle here. They have a swastika here. What do you think that they're trying to get across? And they have a Palestinian flag. They have a swastika, the SS, and a communist fucking hammer and sickle, and they're waving a fucking Palestinian flag. What do you think they're trying to get across? Because I don't understand.
Future president. And so what I heard the justices coalesce around is a few big questions. Is the question that there is immunity for official acts, but not for private conduct? Then the next question after that, of course, is, well, how do we determine exactly what an official act is? And then there was some more nuanced questions that maybe the dividing line isn't official acts versus private acts, but maybe there are just some core functions that the Constitution gives to the president where there has to be immunity from prosecution. Things like the pardon power, veto power, the power to recognize foreign governments. And then last, and this does get complicated, but there was some question as to whether or not you need, in a congressional statute for there to be clear language that that criminal statute does in fact apply to the president. Do you need this clear language in order to allow there to be a criminal prosecution of the president? Which is all to say they really were struggling with how do we determine where there will be immunity, where there will not be immunity, and again, where is it appropriate to draw this line, not just for the case pending against the former president, but for all future presidents. And this is going to take a while for them.
And Jessica, on that front, as you're talking about the distinction between an official act as president or a personal act, part of that was actually this discussion about a personal act or the act of running for president, a campaign. And
he's a dangerous person to have in power, but at least it'll be funny for 4 years. See, that's what we said in 2016. And like, the funny didn't outweigh the dangerous, okay? This is a massive decision for the Supreme Court. They can't fuck it up. Yeah, which is why they shouldn't have taken it on. In my opinion, personally. I think they should have just affirmed the lower court's finding. Like, no, Trump doesn't have fucking prosecutorial fucking immunity for everything that he ever fucking did while in the office of the United States. DM'd me a meme. Okay, we have to finish like ASAP. I might not even be able to finish this video. Oh, look at you, Sieg. Everybody look at what Sieg has done. Wait, this is AI. Was this Tron? When's my next stream going to be? It's super up in the air right now.
Former President Nixon was a line of discussion, as well as former President Ford and his pardon of Nixon. Explain to our audience why those cases are so important as the justices are trying to determine where that line is drawn.
So former President Nixon kind of looms large for a couple of reasons. There are some cases involving him, but with respect to in the question of immunity and privilege when it comes to presidents. But this question of President Ford granting President Nixon a pardon, I think what that is really brought up to show is that why would President Nixon say, yes, I will accept this pardon after he's in office if there was no possibility that he could be subject to criminal prosecution? And the argument is the granting and accepting of the pardon in and of itself shows that both President Ford and President Nixon understood that there was potential criminal exposure for Nixon. Now, Nixon also comes up in a different scenario, and we can certainly talk about that.
Okay. Unfortunately, I have to go, but we'll watch these quick tweets real quick. Okay. Trump's attorney just embarrassed Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson after she called the U.S. a regime under Trump. She was on a line of questioning against. She shouldn't have said that. Why would the president not be required to follow the law when he is performing his official acts? Saul responded with, the regime you've described is the one we've operated under for 240 years. Why would the president not be required to follow the law when he is performing his official acts? Wait, she didn't say it. What is this reading of this interaction?
President, did you know? Mr. President, did you know?
On presidential immunity, are you confident the justices
Well,
that you
we have a big case today. This judge isn't allowing me to go. We have a big case today in the Supreme Court on presidential immunity. A president has to have immunity. If you don't have immunity, you just have a ceremonial president. You won't have immunity.
Did you know about this damage?
So we have a big...
Oh, man. All right. Hey, listen, guys. It's been really fun. Hey, Tron, if you could link me the video that you want me to send to everyone. Assuming Tron is still watching. Here, I'll just see if it's on my channel. Videos. Look at this. Share. Copy. I will set this to release here in the next like 3 minutes as soon as I end stream. So I'm going to link it in the YouTube chat. Share it with all your friends. Go to the video, like the video, etc., etc. And here it is in Kick Chat. There you guys go. I love you guys very much. I'm not going to... Well, is there anyone live right now that I can send people to? Okay, I'll send you guys on Kick to Destiny. I love you guys very much. How much do you care about streaming non-political issues? Only if it interests me. I love you guys very much. I will catch you guys next time I stream. It's probably going to be next week. I'm going to try and stream sometime before then, but you never know. Anyways, love you guys. I will catch you guys next time. Join the Discord, subscribe to the YouTube channel, etc., etc.